So the story about Clint and myself, we only met last Friday because I was asked to step in for someone who couldn't make it a bit at the last minute. So my friend, who is a musician, who normally accompanies me on my poems, is out of the country. So I said, oh my goodness, I'll just be kind of reading my poetry with no music, which is going to be a bit challenging for me. So I asked around and somebody introduced me to Clint. So we're going to be improvising. We have not practiced at all. So this is going to be just improvised, experimental, and we'll see how it works out. So tonight I'll be performing from my first poetry collection, self-published. It's called Splinter, and the book is divided into 3 parts. I will be starting with the first part, which is called It Hurts. The first poem I'll be reading is called Gone Daddy. And this is a poem I wrote because of my father's death. And actually it's a reflection of the last time that I saw my father alive, which happens to be the time I went back to St. Lucia for my grandfather's funeral. And I saw my father, and he was confined to the bed. He could no longer walk. He was suffering from cancer, the last stages of cancer. And he was very despondent, in despair, because he couldn't attend my grandfather's funeral. And when I returned to Canada 4 months later, he was dead. And I had to return to St. Lucia 4 months later for his funeral. So this poem is about that experience, the last time that I saw him alive. Gone Daddy. I lie next to him, turn my head to kiss his cheeks. Don't. It hurts. It hurts when you touch me. I stare with clouded eyes at the ceiling. Unspoken words arc the night, return to earth to unknot their syllables. Daddy, I love you. I love you too. Like hibiscus drenched in rain, my heart blooms. He lies quietly, his breath fluttering. My next poem is called, if I can find my next poem, Plucked Flower. How can a flower bloom when it turns only to the shadow? How can a mango ripen when the sun never kisses its cheeks? She sits in a corner all by herself, reading while the other children play. How can the hummingbird feed its young when its nest has been vandalized? She's silent in class. She huddles in the back, afraid of being noticed. How can the mustard seed have faith when the mountain remains immovable? He comes to meet her after school. You say something to the teacher? I don't say nothing, Daddy. You tell me not to say nothing. In the quiet of the night, she hears the floorboards creak. His shadow looms and swoops like a famished vulture. She raises tiny fists, whimpers. No, Daddy. No, please. No, Daddy. How can a flower bloom when it is plucked before its first blush? How can she ever love when she has never known love? So my next poem is called Down That Hole. And really it describes my personal experiences because I suffer from chronic pain, which is invisible pain, and not many people know that unless I tell them. And so it describes some of the experiences I've had over the last couple of years, really being challenged by this pain. 1. Thieves must have set upon my body overnight, clubbed it unconscious. It pulses like strobe lights. My little toes are indicators, pain rushing through them, receding, surging again, withdrawing. Blink, blink, blink. 2. What will I do with you this morning, dearest body? All knotted and gnarled like the flamboyant tree. My limbs stretch roots into the earth, searching, searching, searching for relief. They thrust and turn underground, dig deeper into the damp emptiness. My body wants to follow, disappear and bury this pain. 3. Even friends don't believe me. They think I'm exaggerating when I explain I'm having a muscle spasm and I can't move. I won't be able to join them for Susan's birthday celebrations. In good times, in bad times, that's what friends are for. Dionne Warwick didn't know what the heck she was talking about. I'm alone again. 4. Lightning strikes my face. No, someone set my face on fire. No, I think a bomb exploded in my face. Can't you see it? The wires are hanging out, jangling, sparking, snapping. I dream of the Terminator. He could go on and on and on after being run over, riddled with bullets, bombed. Terminator. I want my own black woman super duper Terminator. Robot heroine. 5. Maybe it's trigeminal neuralgia. My neurologist is not sure. Trigeminal neuralgia? I Google it. My symptoms are there. She sends me for an MRI. The results show a branch of the nerve may have been affected. She prescribes medications. I've never been drunk in my life, but I've been what you call nice. This is what being drunk must feel like. I weave and I stumble. The whole world is swirling around me. I can't function at work. I'm so exhausted, I fear I'm going to die. She changes the medication. I return to work in a fog. 6. You must be strong. You're too aggressive. You must speak up. You're too loud and outspoken. Don't be too smart. Don't be too accomplished. Don't be too assertive. Don't make them feel threatened. Make yourself small. Fade, fade, fade. 7. Black women are not supposed to show pain. Black women are not supposed to express vulnerability. Black women are not supposed to be depressed. So that's the end of my first set here. It hurts. And my second set, the second part is called It Burns, Browns. And my friend here, I'll be calling on him Clint to accompany me. I'll start with Jagged Pieces. Let's see how this works out. I'm having a problem seeing under this light, actually.
Your book, or?
Yeah, I'm having problem because I have to turn this way so that the light hits the.
I'm wondering if you could do it this way, and then
Yeah.
see you as well.
Okay, I suppose because I'm sort of left-handed, I tend to turn like this. Okay, let me try here. So, Jagged Pieces. Jagged, broken, bare bottles. Litter rum-laced streets. Mongrels feast on half-eaten chicken bones tossed carelessly. You tilt down the shadowed wasteland, your sheer nightgown trailing after you. You pray aloud for all the heathens, carousing masses who descend on your village every Friday night to get their fix of sex, booze, and weed. Rum glasses held aloft while hips grind against each other, heat rising in tense, sweet clouds. A young boy leans against a towering speaker. His body jerks with a shuddering bass. You damn him, you damn them all to hell with one burning lash of your tongue, with one cut eye behind your jaggy old glasses. Why don't you all go read? I was supposed to be a writer. You shout to the heavens. You walk towards the beach, reciting the Gospel of John. The moon lights your path, opens the sea, as if you can walk on water. Thank you, Clint. We're trying something Caribbean style here. Hope it works. So my next poem is called Sean, and it's a bit nostalgic. It's an experience that occurred in my childhood, back in my little village. That day, I shaved my head. Do you remember? Head bowed, eyes closed, I said my contrition, made peace with my decision, and offered my head in sacrifice. We were so young then, children really, but we were so in love, so afraid Mommy would find out, until she found out. Do you remember those stolen kisses under the golden apple tree? Whispered conversations under the house, holidays at the beach, and long swims in the ocean when the water would bleach our skins almost white and our fingers and toes wrinkled like the face of old Ma Anna, who must have been at least 90. Do you remember? Until Mammy found out and beat me until I could no longer feel the pain. I could never see you again. I shaved my head. They fell to the floor, those clenched tufts of hair, like the sullen weight of anchors into the sea, until nothing was left of that once fierce afro. So this next poem is called Riding Dragonflies. So let's see if I can remember this. Commander of Neg Mawon, brigands they call us, fugitives hardened by whips and chains, we refuse to be bowed. Freedom hovers like a dragonfly on the edge of a warm breeze as we prepare for battle deep in the shadows of Gopiton. British from afar, they fight for their monarch. Wind on this mountain's breast, we battle for our lives. Our footprints chisel freedom's path from mountain to sea to Fort-Jean-Libre, valley of free people. Piton Flore they call me. Flore Bois-Gaillard is my name. Carib woman warrior, freedom fighter. And actually, I forgot to mention that this is actually a historical bit. It's very little known fact from St. Lucia, a historical fact from the island of St. Lucia where I was born, populated by the indigenous people, Caribs and Arawaks. And this woman, she was the first female leader of a group of, an army of brigands, or what they called runaway slaves. So it's actually based on that true story. I just thought it was a fascinating piece of St. Lucia's history. So, how much time do I have, by the way? How much time do I have left? Anybody knows?
About 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. 2 more poems. So my next poem is called Where I Come From. I was born where the glare of tin roofs burned the eyes at midday, where towering breadfruit trees spread their sun-tanned shadows over raggedy yards, where children play in the middle of scorching asphalt streets, and cars were a seventh-day wonder, where the stale stench of white rum from corner rum shops waft on Sunday morning breezes. I was fed on sun, sea, and stories. Stories that sang in foam and salt of Sukuyan and Bolom, of Jab and Jabless to haunt my dreams, and I screamed silently at every night shadow. Not even howling hurricanes, their teeth gnashing at our windows, could overcome my fear of these creatures of the dark. I am shaped by the blood of nameless ancestors. Their words clang in me, ancient bells from distant, unknown lands. My inheritance. Let them roar and rise, shatter the silence of 1,000 moons. Thank you so much, Clint. So, I'll be a bit alone here now for my last poem. My last poem is called At Standing Rock, and I think the name speaks for itself. Why weren't you there, shuddering in the cold, doing something more than the collectivism that's animated your life so far? Your mother once told you, you're part native, you know. You'd never seen your father so angry before. He didn't speak to your mother for a week, canceled their trip to France. She never mentioned it again. You went on with your life until you saw those images, read the stories on your iPad in the comfort of your airy bedroom. Maybe it was that moment when the police sprayed them with water cannons in sub-freezing temperatures. Or maybe it was the image of that boy caught in the glare of camera lights staring down the barrel of those guns, arms raised towards the sky, across an expanse of lives. Earth meet heaven. You buy your plane ticket online. You will finally do more than weep for them. Thank you, and this is the end of my set. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for being here. And thank you, Clint.